There were people who cheated us in front of us. Perhaps they believe they are hiding things for the sake of the relationship, but in reality, they are destroying the relationship badly. Let's get started with the story. Click on the bell icon below and subscribe to our channel to keep up with more stories like this. In this case, let's say the name of my wife was Anna, 28 years old, and the name of my husband was Joseph, 34 years old. As a business partner, I was a member of a company. As a result, she came to my office in order to get a job. In the middle of my lunch break, I had a lunch with a business partner of mine. I remember when she came over to my business partner and asked him if he would be able to give her a job. It was a necessity at this point in time for her. Although he refused to meet her, actually the staff did not allow her to meet him, but this time she came and forced him to meet her. My partner told the security to get her out of the building, but I asked them to let me know what happened to her. The girl was in need of help. Due to a crisis in her life, she needed a job in order to survive. As soon as I told her that I would be meeting her after an hour, she waited for me, waiting for me. I looked after her resume in the office. Conveniently, I needed a secretary in my office, so I hired her. As soon as I gave her the job letter, she joined the company the next day. In my opinion, she was a very nice girl. There is a possibility that I could sense it from the moment we met. There was no doubt that she worked very hard. As a matter of fact, we had lunch together a few times, and I got a feeling about her after a few weeks of knowing her. During our conversation, I mentioned to her that I had a 7-year-old son and that my wife had passed away a few years ago. There was a day when I couldn't say anything else to her because I thought that maybe it was too hurried for me to say anything else to her. In order to understand how she was acting, I took some time to observe her. During the following days, I was just observing her and keeping a close eye on her. As well as business meetings, I took her to parties. As much as I found her interesting, sometimes she acted strange, like she was scared or something like that. There was a sudden change in plans and we had to leave in a hurry. Although I did not question her about this, the fact of the matter is that I was also curious about it. In any case, we became good friends and we were able to have some very frank hangout sometimes. I bring her home to meet my son one day. First of all, I was afraid that my son, Rob, might not like her very much. But he was much happier with her than I was. She sometimes came home and played with Rob when he was at home. Watching them both discussing something while playing was a very happy experience for me. In addition, I was also aware of the fact that Rob needs a mother to care for him. As a child, he lost his mother at a very young age. My impression of her after meeting her was that she would be a nice mother to Rob. She also receives expensive gifts from me as well as other things. Due to the fact that I was aware about her condition, I tried to make her happy as much as I could, and thank God I was able to do so. It was after a few months since then. As I was about to drop her off after work, I suddenly told her that I had a serious matter that I needed to discuss with her. It seemed like her cell phone was constantly ringing. I told her to pick up the call, but she did not do so. Then I revealed to her that I was in love with her and that I wanted her to marry me. She was extremely shocked when she heard what had happened. As a result, she said that she has to leave right now, as it was an urgent matter for her. There was no response to my question. My first thought was that she might have misunderstood me. As I was waiting for her to arrive in the office the next day, she did not show up and just called that she would not be able to make it to the office due to some personal reasons. My curiosity got the best of me and I started to wonder what had happened to her. When I told her that I was coming to her house, she said that she was out of town and she would return after a week. Regardless, I did not say anything to her. I just waited for her to come to me. It was not until after a week that she came, and then we had a discussion about all the things after work. Despite my repeated requests to find out where she was, she refused to do so. In her words, she just said that she was willing to get married to me if I asked her. As I suddenly became excited, I thanked her for accepting my proposal and expressed my gratitude to her. As soon as I returned home, I told Rob about the good news that I have received. In addition to getting excited, he also thanked me for getting him a mother. In order to prepare for the wedding, we began preparing as soon as possible. I was told by her before we got married to sign the prenuptial agreement, and I did so without a second thought. We got married in just 3 weeks after we had completed all the preparations. Our family moved to another big house after we got married. Our honeymoon trip was a great success, and we had a great time together. In my opinion, it was a fantastic experience. It was after her marriage that Anna decided to quit her job and spend time at home with Rob. I did not do anything because it was her choice, and I told her that you would become bored at home if you stayed at home. Although she said it was okay since she had a lot of things to do, like going to the gym and all the other activities. Anyway, Rob had a lot of fun with her and was very happy to have her around. As long as she was around, he was never left unattended. For him, she prepares breakfast in the morning, visits school, and spend time with him. It was a pleasure to see her being such a kind and loving mother to Rob. There is a 7 or 8 months of period that it lasts for. Suddenly, a few suspicious activities took place in front of my eyes, and I became suspicious of her. She left one day to drop off Rob at school, and after she left, I also left to go to work as well. There was a difference in time of about 1 hour. It was the way her car was parked outside a restaurant that caught my attention. It wasn't possible for me to stay there, so I went to the office and called her and asked where she was. After dropping Rob off at school, she said that she came home. When I told her that I saw her car parked outside of a restaurant, she was surprised that I had seen it, but she did not express. "You must have seen another car and did not recognize it," according to her. Having said that, I replied that no, I am sure that it was your car, but perhaps I was mistaken, and then I got the phone call. Later on, after a few days, I arrived home at night and I went to bring Rob back to his room. During our conversation, Rob told me that he had been picked up by Anna from the school very lately and that this has been going on for several days. My reply to her was that I would talk to her about it. I asked her about it and she said that she was stuck in traffic or that she was busy in the kitchen. When I asked her what the problem was, my only advice is to be careful in the future. In a few days, when I brought Rob to McDonald's for a Happy Meal, he saw a person and said it was the same person who came home a few days earlier. The first question I asked him was why he came home. Have you ever met him before? It is possible that he's a friend of Anna, as he said yes. How do you know this? I asked him. As he told me, he came home and they went to the bedroom together. However, Anna told me not to tell anyone about it. I found it very strange to see Anna in the room with a man since she did not tell me about any friend like this, and since she was a married woman, how could she be together with a man like this? After eating, I went home and asked her about what Rob had told me. She said it was her cousin, so I asked her, "There's nothing like what you see in the picture." Then I asked her, "Why did you not tell me about it before?" "It was something I forgot to mention," she said to me. As a result of her answer, I was not satisfied with it. Although I have nothing to say her, She left the room before I could say anything to her. It was my belief that all those were red flags. But I don't know why I was just letting everything go so easily. At that time, I should take a closer look at what she was doing. Then after a while, one day I was working in my office and Rob called me crying very hard and he pleaded for my help. I asked him what had happened and I got scared because he was crying so badly. My son asked me again and again, and then he said to me, "Dad, hurry up, come home." In the room, she was beaten badly by an uncle and she was crying. I was in a state of fear when I suddenly rushed out of the office. Due to my hurry, I had broken some signals along the way, so I reached home without giving a second thought to anything. And when I went in suddenly, I found Rob sitting in the corner of the couch crying. I'm able to get him to the neighbors in a matter of seconds. When I opened the door, I saw Anna standing there. The man beat Anna and she was severely injured as a result. Suddenly, I grabbed that man and he also tried to hit me with his hand. In spite of that, I was firm and I held him with both hands. On the table of the room, there was a glass placed on it. As soon as I picked up, I hit it in the head with it. During that moment, he became unconscious for a brief period of time. In order to cover Anna, I gave her some clothes to wear. There was a bad situation that she was in. At that time, I tied him up with a rope. I called the police during that time, and in a while, he became conscious. And then I asked him why he was beating her so badly. I was told by him that I should ask Anna about the reason for this. What does that mean to me? This is what I asked. As he said, ask her, Anna did not say anything when I asked her about it. So I asked her again. In the meantime, that man told me that he was her lover, but she still married you for money. I was kept in the dark about everything she said. When I did find that this was going on, I came over and you saw what had happened. Inquired about the truth of that statement, I asked Anna. Her eyes started to well up with tears. There was no doubt in my mind that it was true because her tears told me so. There is a need for you to tell me everything as soon as possible, otherwise the police are coming and you'll be arrested if you fail to do so. Since it been 2 years, he said. In addition, it was possible that she married to you for money and that she was still in a relationship with me while she was married to you. My feet feel as if they are being swept under my feet as I listen to this. My mind has blown for a few moments after I heard the news. Afterwards, I untied the person and let him go after untying him. In my opinion, whatever he did was the right thing to do. Eventually, the police arrived and asked me if there was any incident, but I told him that it was a mistake that I had made. As a result, they have left it. Just told her to leave my house because it is over now and she should leave. As she begged me not to leave her, I had no choice but to leave her. In the end, I grabbed her and threw her out of the house, telling her that she would be receiving the divorce papers in the near future. There was no sign of her face in the future.